Hi everyone, I'm Emma, and you're on the Stories by Emma channel. Let's dive into some amazing stories. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. The shadows beneath the surface. Since Harper moved into her new apartment on the west side of the city, she felt an eerie sensation every night. It was subtle, like a quiet whisper just out of reach, lingering and making her heart race in the silence. At first, she brushed it off as typical city noise, but soon she sensed a presence she couldn't ignore. One evening, while unpacking an old box of photos, Harper noticed a picture of her building from decades ago. It looked almost the same, except for a missing fifth-floor window, which sent chills down her spine. She quickly realized she was the only resident openly willing to talk about it. Determined to find answers, she approached her neighbors, but they avoided her questions with awkward smiles and evasive excuses. Only one elderly man, Mr. Grayson from the third floor, dared to warn her, whispering, "Some things are best left buried in the past." Ignoring his warning, Harper spent her nights researching, digging through records and old newspapers. She discovered that her building was once a boarding house in the 1920s, notorious for mysterious disappearances. The more she uncovered, the heavier the tension in her apartment felt, as though the walls held secrets she was close to uncovering. On a rainy night, as she was preparing to sleep, Harper heard faint footsteps outside her door. Holding her breath, she tiptoed to the peephole, only to find nothing but darkness. Just as she turned away, she heard a knock, soft, deliberate, and strangely familiar. Harper decided to face her fears and went to the building's basement, a place she had avoided until now. The air was thick with dust and old, yellowed papers lay scattered across the floor. She found a locked door with a faded sign that read "No entry," but something urged her to push forward. Using a hairpin, she managed to unlock the door, revealing a room filled with old furniture covered in sheets, as if waiting for someone to return. The room felt frozen in time, and as she looked closer, she noticed an old journal left on a table, its pages yellowed with age. Flipping through the journal, Harper realized it belonged to a woman named Lillian, who had lived in her apartment nearly a century ago. Lillian's words were filled with dread, speaking of someone or something watching her from the shadows. Harper's pulse quickened as she realized she might be reliving Lillian's story. Just as Harper absorbed this eerie connection, a soft creak echoed from behind her. She turned, heart pounding, but the room was empty. Yet she could sense someone, or something, watching her from the shadows, making her feel like she was no longer alone. Shaken, Harper rushed back to her apartment, clutching the journal. She pored over Lillian's entries, hoping to find some clue to end this haunting presence. She realized Lillian had written about a ritual, a way to seal the darkness, but the final instructions were smudged and unreadable. Determined to finish what Lillian had started, Harper gathered what she could from the journal and followed Lillian's notes. She felt a strange surge of courage, as if Lillian herself was guiding her. She whispered the words written in the journal, feeling the air grow colder around her. As Harper completed the ritual, a chilling wind swept through her apartment, carrying with it a deep silence. The weight that had hung in the air lifted, and for the first time in weeks, she felt a peaceful calm settle around her. Whatever presence had been haunting her seemed to be gone. Days passed without incident, and Harper found herself sleeping soundly, free from the eerie sensations that had plagued her since moving in. She felt a strange gratitude toward Lillian, as if they had both found peace through this strange connection across time. On the day Harper finally unpacked her last box, she found a small note under her bed. Written in elegant script were the words, "Thank you." She smiled, realizing that Lillian's spirit was finally at rest, and that she too could move on with her life. Harper left the building soon after, carrying with her the memory of those mysterious nights, and the sense that she had been part of something larger than herself. She looked back one last time, knowing that she had helped end a chapter of sorrow and brought peace to those forgotten shadows.